I'm always open to seeing what can I do next. Can I pivot, or am I going to look at this as it didn't work, it's a failure?
Yeah.
So I'm always analyzing, evaluating, reassessing, trying to stabilize things so I can have a clearer vision of where I could go next. So for me and myself, and for most women that I know, we can do anything.
Welcome to the Andrea Engstrom Show for bold women in business. We are passionate about helping you break through to your next level of abundance, success, and freedom so that you can create the life you desire and inspire others to do the same. I'm your host, Andrea Engstrom, and I am here today with my gorgeous co-host, Brenda Stroud. Hey, Brenda.
Hey, girl. Hey.
I am loving the glasses that you're rocking this episode and last. Like, these are fabulous.
Thank you, girl. I've had them for years and never worn them. And I decided I am wearing them today because I love the way they look and they match my hair.
Yes, yes, I love them. Well,
Thank
this
you.
leads us to our topic today. We're going to talk about reinventing yourself. And we're not just talking about a new pair of glasses. We are talking about a life overhaul. Because as women, it seems like we reinvent ourselves all the time, and we want to have a conversation about normalizing the big reinvention. And it's not weird, and you're not broken. It's exactly what you should be doing as you navigate the different seasons of your life.
That's true. One of the things that I've realized over my life is that when you reach the end of a season in whatever decision you're in or relationship that you're in, it's okay to pivot. It's okay to move on. It's okay to, as you say, reinvent yourself. We as women do it all the time.
Yeah.
We do it
Yes.
all the time. So we have to give ourselves permission not to view that as a failure or that didn't work or whatever, as much as it is that season is over. It's
Yes.
time for a new
Yes.
season, a new beginning. So I'm excited to talk about this topic.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of things come to mind. One, I think that we need to also reframe the idea. If you tried something and you gave it your best, or circumstance changes, whatever it is, that at the end of a season in
That's
your
right.
life, that if you pivot, to not look at that as failure. When I'm coaching my students who are creating their own coaching programs, we talk about this idea that if you talk to someone about joining your program and they decide not to, or they go through that process and it feels like, oh, I didn't get the sale, that
Mm-hmm.
there's two good things that happen at the end of an opportunity
That's
with
right.
someone. We either get dollars or we get data. And I
Yes,
think that's true with anything that you try in business
that's true.
or in your life. It's like it's either successful from the standpoint of we get dollars, or we learn something that helps us to decide what we want to do next,
That's right.
to pivot,
That's right.
to make a change. And I think sometimes we go down paths to learn what we need to learn to become who we need to be so that we are ready for the next chapter, not because we were supposed to be super successful trying or learning the thing, but because we needed some data
Mm-hmm.
from that
That's right.
experience.
That's right. And it also taps into your mindset. It's
Mhm.
all at how you look at the experience.
Mhm.
If you're looking at the experience in a negative light, then it's only going to be negative for you. If you're looking at it, like you said, as okay, this is an opportunity for me to collect data. It may not be an opportunity for me to make money off of it now, but
Mhm.
it's planting a seed.
Yes,
So
yes.
it could be one of those watering type of experiences where it's watering the seed that you've already planted that's going to eventually grow your business. So,
Mhm.
so you do have to think of each encounter with people as an opportunity to water the seed, to learn from it and take that information and move on. It's not always about the sale. In
Yeah,
some
it's not
cases, it
always.
is, but not always. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. And the number of women that I've spoken to that said, I started down a path and I thought that it was for one reason, but then when I was in it, I discovered that it connected me with the people I needed to meet. And so it wasn't the outcome wasn't what they expected it to be, but it became even better because they met the right people
That's right.
in that
That's right.
experience, or they learned something about themselves that helped them get to their next level of clarity and identity.
Mhm.
And that was the point.
Yeah.
It wasn't what they thought it was, but boy, it became better once they learned the lesson and met
Yeah.
the people, right?
And the great thing about that, if they're able to see that on the other side, that means they were open to it.
Yeah.
So you have to be open to receive whatever is intended by your interaction with a person or with a situation. So if you go into it, I'm ready to receive, let me take from this what's for me, let me leave by the wayside what's not. And if you have that energy, then you're able to kind of see, okay, well, wait, this didn't happen, but what did I get from this?
Yes,
What
yes.
can
I
I
love
take
it.
with me? Eat the meat, throw away the bone.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you're always operating from that standpoint and living your life that way, you
Yeah.
can find something good in every experience, even if it's an uncomfortable one.
Yes, even the things that are not at all what we thought our life would look like. And I know you and I both have been through marriages that ended.
Yeah.
Not, and we didn't expect that obviously going into it. And we've been through, paths in our business that didn't end up how we expected them to. And the things that we take from those experiences, you can either take those things and let them be the reason that you don't do something new in the future and you don't try new things and meet new people, or you can make it the thing that propels you to know what you want in the
That's right.
future,
Yeah.
right?
And also what you don't want.
And what you don't, which is
Yeah.
just, if that's just as important. And I
Yeah.
think, yeah, because
Mhm.
some people will look at a relationship that didn't work out and say, "Oh, what a massive failure! What's wrong with me? I'm broken." Or you can take that information and say, "Now I know
Mhm.
what I don't want
Right.
moving forward. Now I'm
Yeah.
clear." Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good.
because it is a decision that we make as far as how we want to have the experiences that we've had affect us, or how
Yeah,
you want to talk about them, or how you want to move forward with it. So, yes, when you have a marriage that doesn't work, it's easy to lean into the woe is me, and it was him, it was this, and it was that, as compared to being very mature about it and thinking about it from the standpoint of the only person I can affect change is in myself. So,
right.
what can I do so
Yes,
that I can, be a better person, be a better whatever down the road? It doesn't matter what the other person did. It's
right.
really about you and how you want to move forward. And then also how you want to celebrate that season of your life. It's not about how it ended. It's really about thinking about the whole experience and seeing that, okay, there was more good from that than bad. Why not celebrate the good? And then
Mhm,
realize the season was over, and I
mhm.
wish them well, and you move on. For me, that's how I have to operate in order for me to fully be able to receive what God has for me.
Yes, yes.
you know, yeah.
Yes. And so Brenda, I feel like you're a master of reinventing yourself. And so talk about some of the careers that you've had in the past and like what the different seasons of your life look like, even from a professional standpoint.
Well, I can go back even further than that.
Uh-huh.
I was a teenage mother. I
Yeah.
had my son when I graduated from high school. It completely changed my life plan. I was supposed to go off to college with my cousin. Because I was expecting my son, I ended up staying home and I went to work. I worked for the Department of Defense. And then I took another job with the United States Post Office. I conquered that job. I was about 19. I was putting my route up, carrying it in a matter of hours. I need to do something else. So I joined the police department. I was 22 years old with at that time, my son was 4 or 5 years old, maybe not even that old, as a single mom. And I joined the police department because I really wanted to help people.
Hmm.
So I did that for 18 years. And then I ended up retiring 2 years early because of my health, had to pivot again. I ended up, so I did retire. I relocated to a state that I had no family. No, I had a few friends who had just moved here to Georgia because that was what was best for my health.
Hmm.
So I relocated to Georgia, recently retired on disability because of my health. I was married at the time. So now, because I had to move as a result of a warmer climate, I now was in a commuter marriage because my husband at the time wasn't able to move because that's the same time the economy crashed. So
Hmm.
we couldn't leave, he couldn't retire early to come with me. So we couldn't leave that money on the table. So he ended up staying there, was going to stay for a couple of years. And I moved on to Georgia and started, and we purchased a franchise, an edible arrangement, another pivot, you
Yeah.
know. So I operated the business here in Georgia for a few years. At the same time, in the background, I was also running a background investigation business, which kind of tapped into my previous career as a police officer and a detective, and all the experience that that I had from being in the police department, I then used as a background investigator. I did background investigations for people who work for the government and had a security clearance, so they have to constantly renew their clearance. I did those interviews, and they were face-to-face interviews. So those, and that I did that for a period of time until what until the pandemic, because those were face-to-face interviews. Had to pivot again. So ended up shutting that business down, deciding to jump into real estate both feet full time, and now here I am, investing in real estate, but also coaching. Now getting ready to convert one of my residential properties into commercial use. So I'm always open to seeing what can I do next, because a lot of times it's connected to something that I'm doing right now. It's reached its full, it's gone its course. Can I pivot, or am I going to look at this as it didn't work, it's a failure? I refuse to look at it that way.
Yeah.
So I'm always analyzing, evaluating, reassessing, trying to stabilize. You've heard me say that a lot this year.
Yeah.
Trying to stabilize things so I can have a clearer vision of where I could go next. So for me and myself, and for most women that I know, we can do anything.
Yeah.
Anything. So
Yeah.
I live in that space of I can do anything. Now nobody's saying it's going to be perfect and it's always going to get the results that you want. And I'm not as concerned about that as it is that I know I'm capable
Uh-huh.
of doing anything. And that's important for us to remember as entrepreneurs, as businesswomen, as CEOs of our homes.
Yeah.
Because you are a CEO out the door. If you're raising children and you have a partner, a life partner, or a husband in your life, you are already a CEO. So expanding that title to include your businesses and everything is a natural step for us. But you have to know that you're more than capable of doing that. So part of what we're trying to do as coaches is kind of help guide you. But you already come to the table with the skill set.
Oh, I love this. I love this. I feel like there's two words that I hear a lot of women use when they're talking about their next chapter.
Hmm.
And the two words are just, I want to do
Hmm.
this, but I'm just a
Yeah.
mom. I want to do this, but I'm just a teacher. I'm just a police officer, right? Like we put ourselves in these identity boxes that are what we have been, found ourselves in or born
Conditioned to
into,
believe. Conditioned to believe.
conditioned to
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah.
Yes. And those two words are devastating if you believe that you are just this. And so I love the reframing that you just did for, if you have been running your household, you are already
That's right.
the identity of a CEO. And so launching a business, starting a new chapter, doing something that maybe you've never done it in that new category, but girl, you already have the skill set.
That's right.
You've
That's
already
right.
been doing it. You have the identity. You just got to step into it.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I just think I think we as women are most powerful people on this earth.
Mhm.
We really, really are. And I think there's a larger effort, and maybe I'm tapping into something that I don't need to tap into, but there's a larger effort to minimize our importance and our value in our community. And we have to be very mindful not to fall into the trap. We
Mhm.
are more than capable of handling, of running a business, of going into a space and making sound decisions and being critical thinkers and all the things that we naturally do. Now you just got to pick that thing up and put it over here and put it to work. But you have to believe that you're more than capable of doing what you're doing right now. So you got to use the people around you that encourage you, that support you, or even just set an example by how they live their life. They may never say a word to you, but you're watching and you're realizing, like, wait, I can do that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have that same scenario. I have that,
Yes.
I've experienced that exact same thing. If she can do it, I can do it. So we're here to tell you, if we can do it, you can do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And as a coach, one of the things that I love to do best is help women spot their own potential. And I know you're really good at this too. And part of it is because of the confidence that we have in ourselves, that like I can tell you how past experiences set you up for success in the future. So if you haven't had the thought process or haven't taken that direction of looking at past experiences as what has set you up for success for your next chapter, and interpreting it that way, having someone look at your situation from the outside
Yeah.
who can who you can borrow confidence from,
Hmm.
and that can point it out and say, let me tell you what you're capable of.
Yeah.
If you haven't been told this, or you haven't learned this for yourself, let me tell you what you are capable of and the potential that I see in you. And so as a coach, we can look from the outside perspective and point out opportunity for
Yes.
people that we're talking to.
Absolutely. And even if it's and sometimes it's really about, girl, tell me your story. And
Yes.
then you're listening to their story, and then you're able to circle back. And you're really good at this, Andrea. You're really good at this. So as you're listening to the story, do you realize you just said blah, 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 and blah? Do you know that it's the same foundation you need to build your business? You know, you just described 2 or 3 different business opportunities that you've already done. So you're very good at being able to pull that out of people, and they're not even realizing, okay, I never even thought about it that way. I don't know how many times I've heard people say that.
Yeah.
I've never even thought about it that way. So, you know, and we were just on another recording, and one of the young ladies who I know has gone through your program had shared something that she was doing with her potential team members or potential clients, where she's talking about having calls with them. And I want you to explain to me what that is, because I thought it was very interesting, what she's doing compared to what you're doing now.
Yes, yes. So, our last episode, we talked to Bonnie Huggins. So, if you're listening to this, be sure to catch the episode with Bonnie Huggins, where she's talking about building a profitable rental portfolio. But in the end of that episode, she encouraged people to take bold action and take a next step with her, where she'll work with you for 4 days to identify how you could do something really successful with your rental portfolio, like build a $10,000 a month income rental portfolio. And you're absolutely right. Bonnie's one of my students, and I introduced her to this idea of working with somebody for 4 days, because that's how Bonnie and I got connected, is that I worked with her for 4 days to identify what her coaching niche would be.
Awesome.
And what I do is I meet with women who, most of them have never thought about being a coach before.
Yeah.
And I take them through a process of identifying what are the things that they love, that they're good at, that they can be paid for, and that the world needs, and connecting that to their story in such a way where we come up with an amazing idea for what they could be a coach,
Yeah.
what category, what is the unique magnetic message that shares with people what they do, who it's for, why it matters. And then if they decide, they can run with that clarity.
Yeah.
And so that's my favorite thing to do, is help people figure out what they want to be when they grow up. But the way that we get there is by hearing their story and helping them spot that potential that maybe they never thought of in
You know,
themselves.
and I think the thing to point out with that is that they're identifying things that they could do and turn into a business, but they're already doing it for free.
Yes.
Now,
Yeah.
I mean, so it's not like they're really, straying from what they're already doing for free, as far as giving people advice or sharing their experience or
Yeah.
whatever that case may be, but teaching them how to monetize that.
Yes.
A lot of times they have a difficult time. I know I did initially, going from I'll do this for free to now turning it into a business and being comfortable with charging people, you know what I mean, for, and expanding what you're sharing with them,
Yeah.
to make it more into a business. So, and the part that you left out about this that I think we definitely got to touch on is, how much does this cost?
Oh, okay. Thank you for asking.
You left that part
Yeah. So I work with people for 4 30-minute sessions, 4 days in a row, so that we keep our momentum going. And I do that for free, as long as someone seems like they're the right fit for working together this way, and they're open to the process. I only work with women to do this, because I'm really passionate about helping women be successful. But it's any woman who, especially if you're an entrepreneur or you have that mindset, then helping you figure out what you could do to monetize your expertise.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. So I do that with people right now for free. I've been told I need to start charging for it, but I'm really passionate about helping people. And I got to tell you, as a strategy for helping people make a decision to be ready to launch their own business in that category, My conversion rate, so fair warning, ladies, if you want to do this with me, my conversion rate's about 70%, taking people through that process and helping you get to clarity that you can run with. About 70% of women decide that they want to run with that clarity and launch their own coaching program. And so I'm pretty picky about who I work with, but if it sounds like something that would be interesting to you, hit me up because I would love to take you through that process.
It's an awesome experience too, even just sitting down and really brainstorming or talking to someone who's like-minded.
Yeah.
I don't even realize, like, wow, I'm looking at this person from this perspective, and admiring what they're doing, and then you realize, like, wait, I can do the same thing. So to give them to allow them to be in a safe environment where they can kind of explore, those areas that maybe for various different reasons, maybe they weren't either able to see or willing to explore, or in a space where someone allowed them the freedom to explore it, to actually provide that in and of itself as a gift.
Yeah.
And then you're saying it's free. I mean, I would be all over that if I hadn't already been all over it.
And that's, the thing that you shared earlier, that if a lot of people are already giving it, they're giving people advice for free, or people come to them for help for something and they've just never thought about charging for it, or weren't confident that it was something that would provide a ton of value over a long term. And so part of what I show people to do is how you can create a systematic approach to delivering value.
Yeah.
And so instead of just off the cuff, phone calls or one-on-one, how can you create leverage and document a process that works so that you can have repeatable success?
Yeah.
And so that's what Bonnie was describing, is that she does something successfully. And we said, Bonnie, how can we turn that into a program that gives people systematic success, where you've documented what you did that worked and some things you need to know, the things that a lot of people miss when it comes to creating like hers was a profitable rental portfolio. But when you're able to kind of step back and it's helpful to have guidance through that process, right? Yeah. Because even in your situation, like, you'd help people all the time, and you were like, Andrea, I'm on the phone with people for free constantly. But to say, okay, Brenda, let's get that brilliance out of your mind and into a system, and being able to guide people through something step by step is such a great value proposition, instead of people stumbling through it on their own and maybe never getting started, or never taking the next step because they're not sure where to start and what to do next. And so they never start in the first place.
Yeah. Or seeing their own value.
Yeah.
We do live in a society that minimizes, the woman's value when it comes down to business, or even expanding what we're already doing and turning it into a business. Whereas if you had a male that was having the same thoughts of doing the same thing, it's only natural that that's a business. You know what I mean? But if it's a woman, is like, oh, well, it's just, that's a hobby. No, no. So, and I just have to be honest with myself. So I want you to be honest with yourself, is that we live in a world, in a society that's not necessarily encouraging you to turn what you're doing for free into a business. So that's one of the reasons why in the spaces that I coach in as well, it is all women, because I think men got it. They have the support that they need. They have all the different programs that's going to continue to feed them to do the things that God had called them to do. But we as women, are starting a little bit behind them. So we need to create an environment where we support and encourage each other, give each other permission to pivot. If you start one thing and you realize, I love doing it, but I don't want to do it as a business, you pivot.
Yes.
It's not a failure. You just pivot into, okay, I'm going to take a little bit of this, put a little bit of that, and now I think this is where I want to be. So you want to be in a safe space to be able to figure that thing out. And it's okay that it changes. It's okay that you tweak it or whatever, because what Andrea started coaching in and what she's coaching in now is something totally different. What I started coaching in and what I'm coaching in now and what I'm going to be doing forward is totally different. But we give ourselves permission to pivot.
That's right. That's right. No, when we learn better, we do better.
That's right.
When you learn better, you do better, which means when you've learned what the next thing is and what you can do successfully, and you've learned something about yourself that
Mhm.
can help you to help others, then it's okay to pivot. And
That's
I think it's sometimes people need permission to
mhm.
change their dream
Yeah.
when they have learned something new, because they will go barreling down a path because they said they would do it to start with, but then they lock themselves into thinking that it's somehow a failure if now they pivot. And I'll
Yeah.
give you an example of this.
Sure.
The when I first got into real estate investing, I would talk to a lot of women who were like, "Oh, I would love to do that, but
Mhm.
I'm in the middle of my advanced degree." And I'm like, "Well, why did you start that program in the first place?" "Well, because I want to get I want to move to the next level in my job." But right before that, they told me they really want to quit their job. And I'm like, "Okay, girl, we got to
Stand
pivot
up.
this." Like, okay, so the biggest desire of your heart is to have time freedom.
Yeah.
And the reason that you're not going to do something to move towards time freedom is because you are working on your PhD that's going to allow you to get paid more money in your job that you really want to quit.
Yeah.
And so we have this idea of, it's called the sunken cost fallacy.
Yeah.
And that says that and we do this in relationships, right? We're like, I put 5 years in with this man, it's got to work, or I've wasted all this time. I've put 2 years into an advanced degree program. I got 2 years left. And so if I quit now, then I've wasted all this time and money. But the reality is that we're giving up there's opportunity cost
Yeah.
involved if we continue down a path just because we started it and we thought that it was the right direction. But when
Mhm.
we learn better, we can do better.
Right.
If we learn that a past behavior is the best predictor of future behavior, then we can make a better decision about whether or not we continue down a path in a relationship that is toxic,
Right.
right?
Right.
We
Right.
can make a decision about whether or not the career the a career growth path that we were on, if we've decided that we actually have a new vision for our life, we can decide
Yeah.
that we want to change and take a new path. And I encourage people, like, invest in your education in the areas that align with your vision for the
Yeah.
future, not a past goal that you set before you learned what you know now.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. That's good. That's real good. I do think it's important for us to first of all identify what do you really want to do.
Yeah.
Not what your grandparents wanted you to do and what your parents wanted you to do and what all these other people around you are telling you should do. You got to sit down and think about, what do I really want to do? What do I really enjoy doing? What would I do for free?
Yeah.
I love it so much, I would do it for free. And really dig into what's my purpose here, as compared to being conditioned to believe that, getting that PhD or getting that, whatever that is, that job title, the promotion at work is the logical step for the career that I'm in, as compared to what do I really want to do and what's the real logical step for me, and to getting to happiness and being able to really flow in the assignment that God has given you and put on your life. What is
Yes.
that? It doesn't have anything to do with the other people around you. You know what I mean? So, giving yourself permission to explore that. One of the things that I always share about my son, who's amazing, can you believe he's turning 40 on Saturday? I have a 40-year-old son. Yeah. Can you believe it?
I
Okay.
love it.
One of the things I admire about him, he identified what he loved to do and what his purpose was, and he ran after it. He is in the racing industry, has been in the racing industry starting out at about 15, going with his dad, and now he's doing it professionally. And I tell him all the time, you don't understand how valuable that is, that you are able to identify what your goals are and what your purpose is, and you are able to live and flow in it. A lot of us don't even figure that thing out until we're way down the road. But he's actually living it. He loves it. But he gave him, I made room for him to explore it, because when he was younger, I wanted him to go off to a 4-year college. And then he came one day, he came to me with this instructor from an advanced auto program in Virginia Beach, dragged me to my house. And in that moment, I heard God tell me, it's not your life, it's his. I
Yeah.
sat my butt down and I listened to him and I support him. And I was able to identify, this is his passion. This
Yeah.
is what he wants to do. And this is what he's doing today. It
Incredible. That's amazing.
It is.
That's such a unique story too that, he was able to identify that at such a young age. But I think the key to your story there is that you allowed him to explore something that was outside of your original expectations for
Yes.
him. And not everyone is as blessed to have a mama in their life who allows their kid to follow their own path.
Yeah.
And I think as women, especially, we are so conditioned to be in tune with and feel responsible for the expectations of everyone else around us
Yeah.
because of how we were raised, because of society's expectation, whatever it is.
Hmm.
But the idea that you can forge your own path, some of us need to be told that when we're 60 years old.
I mean, that is so true. I mean, in that moment, because the other piece of that, I was the first person in my family to graduate from college.
Yeah.
I was the first person in my family to buy property as well, to be a homeowner. And so, and I mean, my great great grandfather was a sharecropper.
Mm.
My parents are part of the Great Northern Migration from North Carolina to the Washington D.C. area. So so everything in me was like, okay, I want you to graduate from college too, so we can continue to move forward with that achievement. But in that moment, I'm like, it's not my life,
Yeah.
it's his. So even as a teenage mother, because remember, I had my son when I was 18. I graduated high school at 17. I had my son, when I was 18, after I graduated from high school. Even in that moment, I felt like God was telling me, this is what I need you to do. You cannot be make your son a mama's boy. So it was a conscious conversation I had with God. He
Yeah.
is not going to be a mama's boy. This is what I need you to do. Teach him how to be free, to be a free thinker, to figure things out on his own. All those things is what I had to. In my mind, I felt that was my assignment, is to make sure that because I was a teenage mom and I only had one child, I had created a life for myself that it was possible for me to afford to allow him to do certain things. And I did not allow him to do certain things. He had to earn it.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was, I think that was part of it. So when in that season, it would have been very easy for me to say, no, you're going over here to University of Maryland, you're going to go on and get that engineering degree, and you're going to do that whole race car thing in the background. That would have been very easy for me to do. But in that moment, God was like, but that's not your assignment. You're
Mm.
supposed to support him. Your responsibility as a mother is to make sure he launches. So in that moment, I was like, you got it. What do you want to do? I'm here to support you. So I think it's important for us to think about that when we're talking about our children's future. It's not about him perpetuating or continue to do something that was, this who knows whose idea it was, but it's really about making sure that he was a healthy young man and able to accomplish and do the things that he needed to do. When he ran into the bumps in the road, that I was there to support him, because he did run into bumps in the road in this journey and getting into the racing. There are not a lot of minorities doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
There really isn't. When you're talking about, he's a crew chief, he's a tuner, and it's him, and he hired his father. So now you got a father-son combination in the NHRA and PDRA, which is the National Hot Rod Association, basically drag racing, professional drag racing. So you have a father-son combination that is in that industry doing what he's doing. There's not a lot of us out there, but he's doing it well. He's
Amazing.
doing it well. He's featured in the magazine. It's over there. If I'd have known I was going to be talking about it, I'd have it right here in my hand and show it to you. Featured in an article and everything. So I say all this to say, is not only is it our responsibility as a parent to make sure that our children launch and get the support that they need and that they're living their dreams, but we as women got to do the same thing.
Oh, yeah. I love that because your children will always pay more attention to what you do than what you say.
That's right. That's right.
And so as a mom, I think about this all the time that I want to model for my children what it looks like to create a big, beautiful life and for
Hmm.
them to know that they can do it too.
Yeah.
And that you don't have to be limited by a degree or no degree,
Yeah.
that you don't have to follow the path that all your friends are following. You can forge your own path. You can do it different and with style. You can do whatever you want to do. And more than just telling them that, I want to show
Oh,
them.
wow. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
right.
you can reinvent yourself. And
That's
we go through chapters of our life, my daughter, I was a young mom as well. I had my first daughter at 19 and my second daughter at 20. And I I see my daughter, she got started a little early also. She was
Mhm.
early 20s, and she's 25 and she's got three babies already. And she's in this chapter of her life where she's a stay-at-home mom and she is loving it. And I went through that chapter in my life too. And choosing that over going to college, over
Mhm.
pursuing a career out the gate. That's not always the popular decision, right? But sometimes we find ourselves in that situation, or we choose
Yeah,
that that's what we want
if
for
that's
that
for you.
chapter of our life, even
That's
though
right.
it's not what everybody else chooses. You get to choose what you want your life to look like, and you get to choose if you want to reinvent yourself. And
Mhm.
so over and over again, we reinvent ourselves as women, and some of that's connected to what's going on in our children's lives. Some of it's connected to where we're at in relationships. Some of that's connected to when we learn better, we do better,
Right.
or we have new interests, we try something new, and we can make a choice to completely shift
Mhm.
if that is what the whisper is in our heart, is to do something different. It is okay to change your mind
That's
and to
right.
go that new path.
That's right. That's right.
Mhm.
I'm excited about that, and I hope you guys or girls,
Ladies,
that's right, kind of are able to take something from this conversation that will feed your spirit and allow you to finally step into that journey that's going to take you to the next level. That's going to allow you to expand your knowledge and share with other people and bring other people along, because you're more than capable of doing it, and we're here to support and encourage you to do it.
I love it. I love it. And I want to encourage you, if you're listening to this episode today, I want to challenge you to take bold action. I want you to reach out to me send me a DM on Facebook, Andrea Engstrom. And I want you to let me know that you would love to nail your niche. And that's the 4-day jumpstart that Brenda and I were talking about earlier in this episode. If you want to figure out what your thing is, I take you through a step by step process for 4 days. It is free to do this with me. If you know that there is something more for you and there are whispers in your heart that you would love to be doing something to help others in the world and to change your life, and
Right.
maybe take a step in a different career path, I'd love to share with you how that works and guide you through a process to make a decision about what you want to be when you grow up. And maybe this next chapter is you get to become a coach. You get to help others to navigate things in their life that you have navigated in your life.
That's right. That's
Awesome.
exciting.
Well, I love this conversation. Brenda, if somebody wants to connect with you, what's the best way to do that?
You can email me at hello@brendastroud.com, as well as you can go to my website, which is brendastroud.com. I'd
Awesome.
love to hear from you.
I love it. I love it. And if you want to learn more about how to launch a coaching program, you can register for my upcoming event called 100K in 90 Days, how to launch your own coaching program. And you can grab a spot in my upcoming workshop at andreaengstrom.com. Well,
Awesome.
Brenda, amazing conversation. Thank you so much for co-hosting with me. This is so much fun. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you for even including me in this journey. I enjoy these conversations. We always have a great time and great guests. So thank you for thinking of me and including me in this journey with you.
I would not think of anyone else. You're my girl. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
All right, everybody, enjoy the rest of your week. And I want to encourage you that take action on your dreams. Don't just think about it. Show up to your life with power and authenticity. Be bold, be tenacious, make it happen.
Bye.
Today.